Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Excoundrel here. I just want to take a moment to, before I get into this video, because I'm about to show you a very obnoxious strategy for PvP. It works really well. It's great at just like frustrating your opponent, beating higher level opponents, etc. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but I want to take a moment just to apologize. I had a DM from a content creator. I won't say his name, but he kind of said, Excoundrel, you've been really negative recently, and you don't need to be. I get that you're frustrated, but you're not doing the game any good by just being negative all the time. And you know what? He's 100% correct. I have been too negative recently. In my videos this week, I think I would say like over 50% of them have been criticizing the game. And I think while there are legitimate criticisms to have, I don't think that it needs to be the focus of my content. I think I've said what I want to say now, and I think like the reason I got so negative is because A, the last map was quite frustrating to play, but also B, I just want the game to be really good. You know, I want the game to be as good as it can be. I have, as those of you who have followed me across several games have realized, that Vainglory, Auto Chess, etc., those kind of games that I've covered have been really good and then have died. And I just don't want that to happen to Rumble. I really don't want that to happen to Rumble. I want to have a healthy content creation career with Rumble because it's just such a fun game. But I'm going to make the sort of the concerted change now to be positive and only raise issues if I think they're absolutely necessary, rather than banging on about them over and over again. And I make you that promise now, so hold me accountable. If I don't sound very well today, it's because I've got tonsillitis. I took the day off work, and I never take the day off work. But the reason I'm making content is because I wanted to say that particular thing. Let's jump into this game then. We're going to talk a little bit about this Jaina deck, but I'm also going to show you one game from this Baron deck. This Jaina deck is kind of obnoxious. The point of it is you actually run clear casting on Jaina, so you run the talent that reduces the cost of spells by 1. And what you want to do is play Jaina plus execute on the side tower. Play Jaina, and if you play that twice and you rotate it quickly, you get that side tower for free. Now, your opponent might contest it, and that's perfectly fine. You use that opportunity to push, control the gold mines, and try and do the same thing again. I'm also running standard roster of Quillbore, Griffin Rider, Safe Pilot. We're running Blizzard. Blizzard is the only spell, this is the only thing that I don't use a huge amount of in this game. It probably could be changed, but it's there because if I play this into Old-Murk Eye, I need something that deals with Old-Murk Eye. And it's also very good when you're actually making the push on the enemy base to get that sort of last-minute damage and also take out sort of defensive spawns. And I'm also playing Harvest Golem with the stun talent. That's courtesy of Arclight Battery. I watched this video recently, and it has been working out really well. For a deck that doesn't run much defensive capability, or at least not really, you don't really want to be using your units defensively all the time, Harvest Golem is great because it provides a solo defense unit, which is nice. So, the Baron deck is relatively similar. We are running Baron, Skeletons, Quillbore, Griffin Rider, Safe Pilot. We're only running Executes and no Blizzard, and we're running Dark Iron Miner because Dark Iron Miner is a it's just a good way of kind of getting onto the middle of the map and being frustrating in terms of the gold. In terms of what could change here, Dark Iron Miner could actually change. I don't think it's necessary to run it, but there isn't many other like undead units that I'd run in its place, realistically. You could run Wellpegs, for instance, and that's very good. You know, for instance, if you're running Dark Iron Miner with the Mine talent, Wellpegs counters it because the Mine blows up the Wellpegs, and then it deals with the Dark Iron Miner. So they only get 1 gold for their Dark Iron Miner most of the time, which is quite good. But we're going to show you this deck, and I'm going to do some commentating over my replays. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I've realized when I do live gameplay, and I've watched back a lot of my videos now, I tend to stop mid-sentence when I'm playing, and it's really annoying for me, and it must be really annoying for you guys, but it's really annoying for me. So let's just get into it. I'm going to do some commentating over the top of my games. So this game that I'm going to show you is probably the cleanest of the Jaina games that I had. It was versus a level 9 Jaina, so we're going up in levels. And bit of a bad start, mostly because there's, you know, ideally you'd love to just play Jaina Execute at the start. So I'm going to play Harvest Golem because it's a bit of a throwaway card. It needs dealing with. It's going to run down the central platform and deny his what's it called, Kobold, which is perfectly fine. We were going to think about Blizzarding there, but it's not really worth it. And you can see we actually denied his Kobold, and our Kobold ended up getting some gold. Now, he's just Blizzarded my base, which tells me that he's kind of going for a kind of go for the base Blizzard strategy, but we just dropped the Jaina and the Execute, and we've already done half damage. What we are now looking to do is take out his Jaina, and we're looking to cycle back to Jaina once more, which is just another 2 cards away. We don't have the gold to do it entirely, but you can see that we do have control of these gold mines. We're going to drop Jaina once more, and you can see already we have that tower. Now, he needs to commit something to that tower, but we have a massive amount of minions coming down this side of the map. This is a great Blizzard opportunity as well, which you can see here is the reason I'm actually running Blizzard, is because you can kind of do this. He's dropped Blizzard in defense, but all it does is it deals with a Harvest Golem, so not Harvest Golem, it deals with a Griffin Rider, which is not particularly fantastic in terms of trades. He ends up getting blown up somehow. I think he might have got hit by my Harvest Golem, but we've already now got control of the game, and at this point, it is just about getting into the base and doing some damage. And you can see here, I set up for my Griffin Rider, drop the Blizzard, I then execute the Harvest Golem, which then gets dealt with. He doesn't quite place the Blizzard correctly because he couldn't catch both my Griffin Rider and also my Jaina in it. And it's just now a case of dominating the gold, continuing to send Griffin Rider as a threat, but making sure that we are continuously pressuring from his tower as well. And this essentially secures us the game. We are very happy here because we just sort of have the range to deal a significant amount of damage. We're going to drop another Blizzard, realistically. We're waiting for him to spawn something. It's not the worst thing in the world that we drop a Blizzard, and it's only the Defias Bandits, because ultimately it was just about clearing something out to allow my Jaina to get to the base. And we execute it for the win. That's probably the cleanest Jaina game that I've got to show you today. So I'm going to show you another game now. This is versus Grommash. I play this guy quite a lot on stream and when I kind of PvP. I don't have the execute. This is what I really love to do. I like to start off with Jaina plus execute. You can see that he just drops a safe pilot on top of my Jaina. I am going to use my Quillboar because Quillboar is like a relatively good answer. I like to use, when he's sending a Stonehoof Tauren towards my base, I like to use the Harvest Golem for this particular reason. I just like to be able to drop the Harvest Golem in front of my base, and that generally tanks the Stonehoof. We do it as close as we can towards the base. The Stonehoof takes damage from the tower as well as my Harvest Golem. I am, unfortunately, getting battered in terms of Jaina. Like, Jaina is very, very vulnerable to safe pilot, so you can see that's happening quite a lot here. I do take the side tower. Now, this should be a really excellent position for me, but unfortunately, I really misplay from this point onwards. I really should be just spawning stuff at the front of his base, denying his gold. This is the big mistake that I made. I just accidentally spawned Jaina in range of the Stonehoof Tauren's charge, and that was sort of the beginning of the end for kind of getting a swift win in this game. This has been now, as of now, I have to like fight uphill to kind of get this win. Now I'm going to do obviously safe pilot into Quillboar. It's pretty good. I am going to now start trying to take this gold. He will. I think he chain lightnings me. No, he doesn't. Not yet. Okay, he does now. So I got 1 gold off that before he chain lightning me, which is fine. But yeah, that Jaina play, I really should be playing Jaina in a much more aggressive position. I don't need to play Jaina on this side. I also execute the Stonehoof Tauren without actually hitting the base, which is awful. And really, I can just let him come to me and use my Harvest Golem like I'm using it here. Again, I've used my Harvest Golem way too far up. You want your Harvest Golem to be closer to your base so the Dragon Tower can deal damage. I've kind of wasted a Harvest Golem here. And now he's actually got pretty good control of the central platform in terms of gold. So I've taken a bunch of damage, and I'm in a pretty rough spot in terms of my own base. I really shouldn't be in this spot, if I'm honest with you, but I have just misplayed. Now I'm going to start playing Jaina aggressively at this point, which is good. And we really just want to be using Execute and using Blizzard. I obviously did not use a spell right after casting using Jaina, so that didn't work out very well for me, but it is what it is. You can see I'm going to use a Harvest Golem over this side because I'm trying to stop the Kobold from farming. I'm trying to deny as much resource as physically possible. I'm not too bothered about the Stonehoof Tauren for the time being. And I'm not, obviously, as you can see, not massively bothered, apparently, about the Griffin Rider dealing a huge amount of damage to my base. And one of the big problems that I've got here is that, you know, I should have been going aggressive on his base with my spells like this. You know, I really want to be doing that as much as possible. You want to start chipping away at the base. You have complete gold control. So as long as you're stopping his Kobold getting into that central island, you know, you've got quite a decent amount of gold control to work with. Unfortunately, I'm kind of just letting 1 or 2 minis get through and stop me from generating my own gold, which means I'm not really netting a massive advantage at this point. What I really should have been doing is playing way more aggressively with my Jaina like I am here. Should be doing this a little bit more often now. I think Blizzard is best option at this point, and that's a good Blizzard for me. That's actually really, really good, and I can just use Execute to finish the job once I have enough gold. Which I don't, which is really annoying. So I actually end up losing the Jaina, but it's okay because I can just execute and get the win, get the damage down. But in the meantime, I have not farmed any gold for quite some time. There's a massive gold pile in the middle of the base. I've got a huge amount of damage coming down to my base here, which is going to require me to defend with Griffin Rider, which I did badly. And his Quillbore is starting to do a serious amount of DPS. So at this point, it's now a case of just attempting to get onto his base with as many of my minis and units as possible. You can see that he's now going for kind of like it's pretty sensible play, to be fair. He's trying to sort of get that last bit of chip damage out, and he doesn't actually have any spells. If he had a spell, I'd probably be screwed here. But we do end up winning at the end by playing Jaina. There was a point in the mid game where I just lost control of the right hand side of the map, and that really should not have happened. But we still managed to bring it back just by going for that spell cycle on the base. It's not a fun way to play the game, frankly. I know a lot of people get frustrated with this style of play, but it does work. And I'm going to go and do another game now. Let's have a look. Okay, so we are going to do this game versus a Sneed player. Not really sure why he's running Sneed, but again, we have Execute in our hand. We just need to try and cycle to get to Jaina. Now, he's dropped a Stonehoof Tauren very early on. I don't really have a good play. Like, I don't want to play any of these spells, realistically. So I'm just going to cycle Jaina into Execute to get the damage on the base. And we are going to just have to drop Harvest Golem in defense of the Stonehoof. Now, we are going to die. We really want to use... Safe Pilot on this troll, if we can. We're also going up against a Cheat Death Sappers build. Now, I let that go through because I don't mind taking the damage now, because I'm just trying to get the Execute cycled again. Now, I didn't actually even need to play Jaina again because I already had one on the field. And you can see now it's going to be essentially a desperate attempt to defend this tower from him. Because he's not going to be able to get sappers onto my base easily now. If this tower goes down, this protects you against the general sappers cheese that you play into. Now, we have ended up losing this, but we are just going to wait for a blizzard to be able to blizzard this, which is good, because that should basically deal with the troll and then allow me to get some free damage on the base. Now, he's dropping a Stonehoof Tauren here, which I can see. I am just going to use an Execute again, just to take the tower. Again, respawns it back in my favor, and then we're going to drop a Safe Pilot to kill both of those minis. He's dropping yet another troll, but that's fine because we are getting some chip damage on his base. We're constantly sending Jainas down the left-hand side, and you can see here I'm just waiting for another blizzard, which I'm going to do here. The reason I'm doing it towards the base is just in case he tries to spawn anything else. And now I'm going to send Jaina towards the base. It's another Stonehoof Tauren, so that does mean that I know I'm probably going to get charged and it will die. And you can see I'm just going to spawn another Safe Pilot. We just want to put pressure on this Stonehoof Tauren. We want to try and secure this side tower if we can. You can see he's sending another set of annoying units towards me. I'm actually going to use Blizzard here. Not quite in the right spot. I end up losing to one of them, but the other one will go down. Blizzard is a good counter to Sappers and Cheat Death. The reason that Blizzard is a good counter to Sappers and Cheat Death, by the way, is because Sappers plus Cheat Death is 5 gold and Blizzard is 4 gold. So it's a positive elixir trade for you. Now, the reason that was a terrible Griffin Rider, by the way. The reason I dropped the Quillbore there is simply because I wanted to stop him from attacking the base. Now, you can see he's already getting a lot of damage done to the base, which is annoying. Like, Big Bad Voodoo Troll, it can single-handedly take towers, which is why I run it in my Cairn deck. We have once again lost this side base, but we're going to use Execute once more to try and stop it from going down. In the meantime, we're getting chip damage on the base over and over again. Now, I am at this situation where I do kind of need to be worried a little bit about these goblins, so what I'm going to do is, again, drop the Blizzard. And that just stops them from going down. In the meantime, he's spending so many resources to stop this side tower going down. He has actually lost control of the majority of the central gold island, so he's not really getting any of that right now. I can see that he's going for that chip damage. He's just doing what he can to get himself back into the mix. I'm going to play another Jaina on this side. We're going to try and use Blizzard. We're going to use Blizzard because we're seeing the sappers come towards us. So we're using the Blizzard because we're seeing the sappers come towards us. We actually want to use the Execute as well. That takes down the tower, but we actually ended up winning through chip damage on the other side of the other side of the field. It was quite lucky I did, to be honest with you, because we were essentially a little bit too focused on the side tower that game. I probably could have just kind of let him push it and then execute it again and then just kind of go down the side tower. But yeah, either way, he spent too many resources trying to get that tower back, and I was just able to chip away at his base myself pretty nicely. I probably could have spent more spells on his base, if I'm honest with you, but in the end, we got the win, so it's fine. So I'm going to show you a Baron game now. I wasn't particularly happy with this Baron game. It was definitely not played that well from my side. It's versus an Old-Murk Eye, and I don't really have the tools in my kit to deal with Old-Murk Eye. Like, you really want Blizzard versus Old-Murk Eye, realistically. So he immediately jumps into basically his full unload with Old-Murk Eye. Now, really the best thing that I can do in this scenario is probably wait for everything to group around my base on the choke point and then use Safe Pilot. You'll see me do it later in the game, but I mess up my Safe Pilot here. Basically take a buttload of damage for absolutely no reason, and yeah, it was very, very poor form. I really should have waited to use the Safe Pilot when they'd grouped over my bridge, because that's one of the things that is quite good about this level into Old-Murk Eye, is that ultimately they're going to get to your bridge and group up. So if you miss the Blizzard at the start, you can use the Blizzard around your bridge to kind of deal with the majority of the Old-Murk Eye spam. Obviously, good Old-Murk Eyes will time things, so things come up one at a time, so you end up taking a bit of chip damage in the meantime. But that's actually where Harvest Golem comes in quite useful. Harvest Golem is a good pick into Old-Murk Eye, but this is kind of what I wanted to do originally, just get a good Safe Pilot. Because I don't have Blizzard, there isn't really another good way for me to deal with this. Now, I am trying to cycle to another execute, because it's obviously a little harder with Baron to get the execute plays than it is on something like Jaina, where you get guaranteed hits. But nonetheless, you can see we're just dealing with another Old-Murk Eye spam. It can feel quite overwhelming to deal with Old-Murk Eye at times. You guys probably know it's a little bit like there's just always spam, and you can see that I have to then go for another hit on the base there, because I'd basically let it get to full HP. Now I'm sacrificing base HP here to go for my win condition. It got very close, like a little bit too close. Also because my Griffin Rider decided that it didn't want to attack the wolf. It got way too close there, but I made a conscious decision to sacrifice base HP to go for the win condition. So that's kind of what I like, sort of a conscious choice that I made in this scenario to do this, which, you know, is okay, but could have gone very badly wrong. I didn't exactly time that the best. Now, what this has allowed me to do is get the execute that takes me to the tower, which is very important. Getting the execute that takes me to the tower there is nice. I'm going to immediately use my Quillbore into Safe Pilot. I know that he's now spending gold quite rapidly to defend this tower, which is great, which now means that I can go for mid-control. So the reason I've dropped the Dark Iron Miner there is because I know that he's desperately using stuff to keep himself in the game. And that Quillbore right there was enough for the tower to spawn, which was great. That Quillbore kind of was an MVP Quillbore for me, and I used my Safe Pilot to clean up the majority of his push. So, yeah. I think with Old-Murk Eye, when you're playing this deck, you do need to make a conscious decision that you're probably going to take some base damage. You need to go for a very insane valued defense, and then you need to set up your executes. And at this point, he doesn't have a spell. He has no direct damage to my base. I know that. So what I'm going to do now is just start to pressure continuously. He cannot get his Old-Murk Eye down the left-hand side because of the tower. So I know that he's going to start to use Old-Murk Eye down the right-hand side all the time, going down the central island. That means if he does that, I can just start to pressure everything pretty much from the left-hand side, especially with my execute as well. And you can see here that he is going to use Old-Murk Eye, and that's okay. I am just going to execute his Prowler, and I've got my defense now going on. Now he's got a very small Old-Murk Eye push, and I have a Safe Pilot, so I'm not at all fussed about dealing with this. So you can see I am just going to drop the Safe Pilot here as the Old-Murk Eye units get to my base. Is a little bit risky. I definitely should have been maybe a little more conscious. That's why I dropped the Quillbore, just to make sure that the last few Murlocs don't get the hit, and then we end up getting the win with another execute. So little bit dicey, but we do manage to make the win happen. And that's the last game that I'm going to show you guys. Go forth, enjoy execute, see how it goes, and I hope you guys have a really nice day. Thanks for watching, and I'll again try to be more positive from now on.